Welcome to Alaska EdVenture, hosted by Dr. Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. This award-winning podcast is your gateway to the heart of Alaska's educational landscape. In each episode, we'll explore the unique perspectives of guests who are shaping education in the last frontier. Join us on Alaska EdVenture as we share the insights and inspirations found in Alaska's K-12 classrooms.
Welcome back to the Alaska EdVenture Podcast. I'm Dr. Luke Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. And today I am super excited about the conversation we're going to have about the music programs here in the district and some of the competitions our students have been participating in and maybe some upcoming performances. And so I'll let my guests introduce themselves and then we'll hop into the content. So Mrs. Brazier, we'll start with you.
All right. My name is Gwendolyn Brazier, and I am the Lathrop and West Valley High School choir teachers.
All right.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, you want to go, Trix?
Mike.
Yes. Yep.
I'm Becca Freeman. I do orchestra and choir at North Pole High. That's it.
Perfect. And what grade level are you in, Becca?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior? Okay.
Hi, my name is Lacey Demers. I'm in West Valley's not orchestra, choir and band, and I'm a junior.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Daniel Cheney. I'm a senior at Lathrop High School, and I play primarily trombone and piano.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll get started. What got you guys interested in music? A lot of musicians, I know you guys are in high school, but a lot of musicians start early in life. So what kind of sparked your interest in music?
Does anyone want to start? Or I guess I can start. Okay. So for me, music has always been a really big part of my life. I started playing piano from a young age, and I've been singing for as long as I can remember. And a lot of that was because of my dad. My dad's very into music as well. And so, I just always have loved participating in music, and it's just always brought me so much joy. So
awesome. And how old were you when you first started either in choir or?
So I have done some summer programs before I started high school where I could participate in being in choirs.
Mm-hmm.
But West Valley was my first school choir.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was also my first time being in the band because that was just the first opportunity I had to be in band. And it was the first time I ever thought of it maybe I should try this. And I'm really glad I did. So.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we're glad you did too.
Yeah, kind of similar. My mom, I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and my mom made us all take piano lessons, which I highly recommend you do with your children.
Love it.
And so I started playing piano when I was 5, and I wasn't good at it at all, and I hated it. But and then my older sister, plays the clarinet, and she was in band. And when you have an older sister who does something, and you're a younger sibling, you just really need to do that and need to be better than them, and really need to you need to do that. And so I joined band in the 4th grade, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to talk a little bit about your piano experience. So your parents made you start piano. Are they still making you do it, or are you now over that threshold
that's a really good
and
question.
You like doing it?
Yeah, there's a very distinct. I really, and to this day, dislike classical piano. I mean, yeah, it's and only because it's not fun, and I think music should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
And so there was a very distinct point around 5th or 6th grade. I haven't taken lessons in years, but where my teacher gave me Scott Joplin ragtime. I don't remember which piece I should, but and it was oh, this is actually an enjoyable experience. And then the following year in middle school, I had joined the jazz band, and I was oh, this is why people do this and create art. And it finally clicked. Yeah,
awesome.
But yeah.
Okay, great. Becca, how about you?
So when I was little, I took piano lessons because my mom made me and my brother both play an instrument.
So common theme here.
For me,
Parents,
piano.
Get your kids into music early.
My teacher actually stopped teaching after 2 years of me taking piano lessons, so I just stopped taking piano lessons. And then I got into 4th grade and started playing violin, and I just fell in love with playing it. I joined choir last year at North Pole High. That's about all I do.
Okay, perfect. And Mrs. Brazier, have you been a lifelong musician, or what got you interested in music and then also pursuing it as a career?
I knew in the third grade I wanted to be a music teacher.
Wow.
I was at North Pole Elementary School, and they gave us a survey of what you're going to do when you grow up, and mine was music teacher.
Awesome.
Because that was my favorite class. I had Miss Beth Ani, who was teaching there and actually taught our district for a very long time. And she inspired me. And then every successive music teacher I had after that was like, oh yeah, this is definitely it. I could just sing all day and play instruments and have the best time ever. I want to do that the rest of my life. And so ever since then, that's what I've always wanted to do. My mom said I came out singing and I just didn't stop or were quiet. So, and then in the fourth grade, I was at North Pole Elementary School and we had band and orchestra then, and I was the tallest kid. And so I started on the violin and I was terrible at it. And then they said, oh, well, you're really tall. Here's a bass. And so I took that home because everybody told me I shouldn't. And I did. And I carried it all the way down my lane to my house. I got on the door and my mom said, no, absolutely not. And so I was like, yeah, for the rest of my life. So I play upright bass as well as sing. And I've been doing that ever since.
That's great. So a little pushback against families here. That's fun. Oh, I lost my train of thought. We're going to cut this for a second. What? Oh, there was something I wanted to ask you when you were talking. Oh, okay. I know what I was going to say. Sorry, Josh. Make Josh work hard. Well, I love that one of the things that sparked your interest in music was elementary band and orchestra, and then just having choir programs at our elementaries as well. And so, one of the tough things over the course of the years with tough budget cycles is that our instrumental music programs have gone away from elementaries, but we still have very strong vocal choir programs at our elementary schools and different musical concerts that they're doing. And in fact, I was able to see one today at one of our local elementary schools, and it's awesome to see the passion of the students and teachers and how that might spark something in the future. And they might be sitting right here with all of you or become one of our next music teachers. So thanks for calling that out.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's it like being in a high school music program? What does that look like day to day, and why do you continue to be a part of it?
Okay. So for me, I take both the orchestra and choir. So it's a lot of practicing when I get home, or it should be. It isn't always.
For my kids too.
And it's a lot of hard music just because they want us to advance more and work harder. So they just try and push us as much as possible, which I quite enjoy being pushed when it comes to music. That's it. You want to go?
Yeah, okay. So for me, I'm in the concert choir at West Valley, which is the audition level choir. And then I'm in the concert band, which is just the entry level band. I do want to maybe audition up at some point, but it just hasn't really worked with my schedule, which is fine with me. I don't really practice my music at home that much. I'm gonna be honest. I know. It's okay. I'm admitting on camera.
And by not that much, she means just like a couple hours a night. Okay.
No, actually no. Because the only time I will really practice is because with choir music, obviously that is easier for me to practice at home, and because I know how to play the piano, I can plunk out my part if I need to. But we also have tracks that we can listen to. But usually I can learn the music pretty quickly in class, and then it's just, doing it with everyone. And if there's tricky spots, or if there's a piece that I really know I need to work on, I'll work on it at home. But what's nice is that it's nice, and also it's kind of annoying sometimes, but I'm in band and I play percussion. I don't have percussion instruments at home, so it's kind of hard to practice at home. But a lot of the times I also, with that, even if I don't learn the music really quickly, I'm able to, make it work in class. And he'll have us sight read to start with, and then decide what we're gonna play, and then pass out parts and everything. In general, I really only practice my music if I really know I need to work on it. But just being in the music program in general, I really like the camaraderie that comes with it. It's you form all these connections with people, and it's like a break from the academics, and you can just come in and just sing or play percussion. for a class, and it's like, oh, I'm being graded on this. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And for listeners that aren't in Fairbanks, because we do have listeners from around the country and sometimes around the world,
Yeah.
what is the size of the band and choir that you participate in?
So right now, the concert choir, we have 15?
Mhm.
Yeah, we have 15 people in the concert choir right now. We don't have like super even parts. We only have one guy in our choir right now, one bass singer,
Right.
and we have other people that can sing like lower as well. We have one bass singer right now, and then in the band, I think in the band I'm in right now, we have 16, which are fairly small groups generally. Ideally, we'd have like a lot more people and we could have more balanced parts, but we make it work, and it is what it is. We have a lot of fun, so that's what's important.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. As to like what it's like, it's really stressful and really super more than it's stressful. It's super rewarding. Yeah. Like I'm in jazz band as well, which meets at 6:15 a.m. every day.
Wow. There's some commitment there.
Yeah. So I'm like really sleepy most of the time, but it's like, it's hard to explain if you're not in it. It's just so, and band too. It's like what you're saying. It's like, wait, this affects my GPA. I'm getting graded on this. You know, this like, are you serious? This is like, I do this for fun. You know what I mean? And as to like why I do it, it's like, because it is stressful. Like you guys were talking before we started recording, it's like there's somewhere in this school district there is a concert every night, and
especially this time of year.
Yeah, and it's like this every Christmas, and also every fall, and also every spring, and in May we like graduation. Like, but it's so worth it because like the ability to come together like as students and as peers. It's like I sit next to this guy in my English class. And then I also hear him like have the most incredible, beautiful like euphonium solo and at the same, in the same school day. And it's like the ability to like create art with such a massive group of people is like, there's like nothing like it in my opinion.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And just that giving back to the community too. I was over at Denali's Thanksgiving feast recently, and were you a part of?
I was there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So the jazz band and show choir performed over there and provided an amazing service to those students and community members that showed up. And just the change in atmosphere of you being able to come over and provide that music is wonderful. And so when he's saying there's literally music concerts every night, it's not even the ones that people always realize and show up to. There's all these community events that a lot of our students are participating in and providing service to. So thank you for doing that.
And as a parent, you guys went over to Denali. My son's a 6-year-old at Denali, and he got up and got to dance that day. And that was the highlight of his day. He was so excited to get up and dance with the kids and just do crazy stuff and be able to drag up other kids. So every year the kids there look forward to it. And so it's lovely that the jazz band and the show choir are able to go over and do that every year.
Yeah. I went to Denali, and in like my 5th or 6th grade year was like one of the first years that Lathrop came and performed. And I was just like, that also coincided with my like jazz piano awakening. And it was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
Holy crap. I can't wait to do that. And then I did, and I am.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
I love that. I was just talking to my administrative assistant today because we were talking about this podcast, and she knew many moons ago when I was in high school, I participated in jazz and show choirs and a competition show choir and traveled around. And she was like, well, what got you interested in music initially? And it really was looking up to high school kids, seeing them in jazz choirs and show choirs, and what a big impact that has on our youth here in Fairbanks. And so thank you for your willingness to do that. I heard a couple of you talk about grades. And so I want to pass it over to our teacher in the house. And how do you grade music programs and music students?
So we have, all of us actually took on a new program called Breezing Through Theory this year, which is an online program for helping kids learn about music theory. So there's that rigorous portion of that as well. On top of these kids having to learn how to use their instrument, learn how to perform it well, and how to be able to sustain the tone and the quality,
Mm-hmm.
on top of not getting tired, on top of trying to do all their other classes on top of it. And then we ask them on days like concert days to perform for up to 4 hours while they're trying to not lose all of their momentum for everything else, at the end of every semester. So we ask a lot of our kids, but we also grade them on showing up, which is the biggest thing, working as a unit. This is the world's largest group project. For every band, orchestra, choir program out there, it's the world's largest group project. And if anybody's ever been in a group project where people are not pulling their weight, they understand, right? And so we expect them all to rise to the occasion, because that one wrong note, that one wrong entrance can mean a difference in whether it's a good performance or whether it's a okay performance. And these kids all take it very seriously. And so we grade them on showing up, being prepared, having their stuff learned, not necessarily on their practice at home, but on their practice at school, and being ready to go when it's time to put that on the stage and make something happen.
I love that. We talk a lot about college, career, and life readiness, and all of those skills that you just listed are hopefully skills that are learning here that are going to translate into the next chapter of your life, whatever that may be. So thanks for doing that. And
Yeah,
I was just
absolutely.
curious. I mean, it wasn't something that I had planned to talk about grading, but it seemed like students were stressed out about the grading piece a little bit, but then also like, hey, this is cool that I get a grade for making music. So what's one of the best things about being a part of the music programs here?
I guess I'll start. So, I mean, I kind of mentioned this before, like you meet all these people that have similar interests to you. Like you meet all these people that are, and for the most part, people want to be here and they want to be making music with everyone and contributing and learning as well and getting better. And you make lots of friends and you form these like lasting relationships. And like I said, just the camaraderie of it is just really great. And it's unlike anything else really, because you're working with all these people.
Yeah, that's great. And do you have a favorite moment that sticks out in your mind of a performance or a moment in practice that really stands out to you?
I mean, it does depend because like obviously I'm in choir and band, so it's not going to be exactly the same with those, but just those moments where, and for me, when it comes to choir, I really like a cappella music, and those moments where it's just like a big full chord and everybody hits it, everybody's there. It's just amazing. Like I love singing in big choirs because it's just the feeling of having everyone around you and you're hearing everybody else and you can hear across the other parts. Like it's just unreal. I get chills.
Yeah, I'm getting chills thinking about it. So
Yeah.
that's great.
It's just amazing.
How about either of you? Any big moments that stick out in your mind or things that you really appreciate about being in a music program?
Yeah, it's well, okay. I have a couple. I'm like cycling through anecdotes to answer this, but I mean, it's like it's like the concert for me, like the performance of it, because we are given our music, like they're quarterly, right? Like concerts, and then like we get our music at the beginning of the year, and then we like practice it and we play it all day, and it's like it's schoolwork. Like we get graded on it, and it's like just like going through the motions of it, and then like it doesn't feel real until like I want to say not even like even the dress rehearsal to me feels like just another rehearsal in a different room. But like when we all show up at call time and we're in our like concert black in our uniforms, and then like we go on stage and then the conductor comes out, and then like he's looking at you like he's hailing down a 747 and then you do what we have all been practicing to do for the past like 3 months. And it's awesome every time. Even if someone messes up or whatever, it's like beautiful every time. And then like we all walk outside and then all of our families are there, and like just the community of it and the ability to make music with other people on stage and have it be a big deal, because it is a big deal, because we spend so much of our time doing this. It is a big deal. So yeah, every single concert and performance is my answer.
Awesome. I love that. And you mentioned quarterly. Is that how often you change over new pieces or learn new pieces, or what's that?
It's far more fluid than that. I mean, a lot of the times we'll get a piece like in the fall, and then hopes to be, or like we'll change our minds about it.
Sure.
Or we'll take votes on like what we want to play, and it's like maybe we'll push this for the spring concert or for next year even, just like based upon. So yeah, I suppose. But usually what ends up happening is he just keeps giving us music and music and music that he like wants us to play, and then we sight read it, and then at the end of the year your folder's this big, and then you have to return it all, and you only played like maybe a third of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. Becca, any key memories that stand out to you?
So for me, it's probably also concerts. I just think they're really chill, to be honest. I know a lot of people stress about, oh, we're performing. Oh, I don't feel prepared. It's not that I feel prepared. It just is, I know it's going to go fine. And I don't really stress about that. So, and I have a concert tomorrow, so that I should not be talking like this. So, I don't know. I just think concerts are probably the best part of it, being in orchestra and choir. And that's only because I get to perform for family, friends that show up. I get to see people I don't see very often. Yeah, that's basically.
You said some people get stressed out about performing. Does that mean you don't get stage fright, or?
I personally don't. I know people who, in both orchestra and choir, who really freak out about going on stage for multiple reasons. For me, it's just, I've been doing it since I was in 4th grade. And yeah, other people have been doing it since they were in 4th grade. I just don't get stressed over stuff like that. I don't find a reason to.
Yeah. And are there any tips and tricks for people that get stage fright? I mean, one of the most common fears, I think, is for people to get up, and certainly for public speaking, but I feel like music and performances in general fall into that category. And so does anybody else experience any kind of stage fright? And if not, like, how do you work through that?
I get stage fright every single time.
Do you?
Yeah.
So what are some tips and tricks?
Breathing.
Okay.
Breathing's very helpful because that's the thing that'll get you more than anything else with stage fright is you're not taking big enough breaths. You start taking shallower breaths, and then you don't get enough oxygen to your body, and then all sorts of bad things happen. We were talking beforehand that like even in our mass choirs for Allstate, we had kids that weren't doing well on stage and like would pass out, and we have things in place to make sure that kids stay safe. But it happens because your blood's pumping, you're in front of lights, you're on stage, you're standing, the whole thing's coming together, and you get super excited and you lock your knees, and then your blood doesn't pump properly and you pass out, and because you're afraid of what's happening, but you're also excited at the same time. And so it's a give and take. The biggest thing is breathing. The next thing is realizing that everybody is there to watch you succeed. They're not there to watch you fail. And that is not the goal of everybody there. And once you realize that, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of to go along with that, I don't, like, I've never, gotten, like, I've never passed out on stage or like on close to passing out on stage, but I do get the, like, just the feeling of, like what you said earlier, like it doesn't feel real until you get up there. It's like when you're just rehearsing and it's, just in class and like, or you're on stage, but there's nobody in the auditorium. Yeah, it just feels like a rehearsal, but then you get up there and like Ms. Brazier said, you've got these lights on you that it gets hot on stage because you're under these big, huge lights and you're standing with everyone and it's the anticipation. And so for me, like I'll get up and I will be like, breathing a little bit faster. I'll be like sweating. But for me, it's just as soon as we start and I get into it, I just like, and by that point, you're like, okay, I know this music well enough, or I should know this music well enough to the point where you can just have fun with it. And just, I find that I kind of relax as the piece goes on.
Excellent.
And then maybe like if you get towards the end and it's like a big ending, you're like ready for that. But I find that once I start, I'm fine. So it's just getting over that initial fear.
Perfect. Thanks for describing that for us.
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak for my own experiences, but I would say, generally speaking, the number one solution to stage fright in band is to practice.
Preparation.
Yeah,
right.
Because
Feeling
if you know what you're gonna play,
Yeah.
you have no reason to be. And yeah, I mean, exactly. Like in my mind, the most stressful part is the first 3 notes. And then after that, it's like, well, I'm already here. No one is and it helps when you're in band and when you're in like a huge group, because it's like, it's very unlikely many people are looking at me. And if they are, it's for maybe a quarter of a second, and they're just scanning, unless it's like my mom, and then it's my mom.
Yeah, or you're doing a solo or something.
Yeah.
Mom's definitely got a video going, so.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like you were saying, I mean, I think every time I get nervous right before I go on stage, I mean, like, I couldn't tell you how many times, like almost every concert I like go at Herring, there's like the back hallway with the dressing rooms, and I go in there and I like will wash my face with cold water, like Vegas nerve reset every time, just to like lower the heart rate and control the breathing. Sure. Right, that's a pro tip. You can write that down.
There we go.
And yeah, but then it's fine every time. Yeah, it's just like you do it enough, and you know, like what is the worst that can realistically happen, and it's like nothing most of it. Like I mean, yeah, unless you're inquiring, then you faint, which I I always sit. When I play.
Well, Mrs. Brazier mentioned All-State, and so my understanding is all of you participated recently in All-State. Can you describe what that is and how you either got selected to participate or how you got the opportunity to participate?
So what All-State is essentially a showcase of the like top musicians in the state, and for getting selected, it's this audition process where it's a blind audition. And so they have tracks, like there's a couple scales you have to sing, a chromatic scale, and then like a little song. And you send in just like audio tapes, audio recordings of yourself singing or playing those tapes. And you just send them in, and they will score you on, like regardless of whether you get selected or not, they will score you on like tone, intonation, and just like accuracy, and keeping a steady tempo. And so you'll get this feedback from from adjudicators that like maybe things you can improve on for next time or just in the future. And then they'll select a certain amount of people for each part. So like there's all the parts in band and orchestra, and then there's 2 choirs. So there's mixed choir, which has high and low voices, and then treble choir, which is only high voices. And then you get there and you have 2 very long rehearsal days with like breaks here and there. And you're given music to learn before that, of course. So you're not just learning it when you get in there. The expectation is that when you get there, you already know your music, and then you're learning how to interpret it. That's what your conductor is going to help you do, is interpret the music with you and learn how to balance with everyone else, and work on dynamics and everything that's going to really enhance the piece. And then the final day, everyone performs, and it's just a really amazing concert because everyone wants to be there, and everyone is like top of the level. So it's really fun. It's a great experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Anything else to add from a teacher's perspective? I mean, I think you covered it really well.
We had over 800 people submit tapes.
Wow.
And we are very pleased because we had 55 students selected from the interior out of those kids to participate in what ended up being almost 300 kids that were selected.
Wow.
So
huge percentage.
Yeah, a huge percentage. And on top of that, a bunch of our kids got first chair for that. And we represent really well every single year. And I couldn't be more pleased from all the disciplines on how many kids went there and just kicked butt and took names.
And for those that don't come from a music background, what does first chair mean?
So basically when the kids get there, they all have to audition. In choir, there's a select top 3. So if you're the highest scorer, and in the band, if you're the highest scorer in your section, you get placed in one of the first top slots. And then when you get there, you have to re-audition in front of a panel, and then they select who is the best of the best of the best, and that person gets a medal and gets announced as the chair medal winner.
Yeah. And Fairbanks historically has done really well in all-state competitions. Yeah. What do you attribute that to?
We have had such a good music community here.
Mhm.
It's always been very supportive of our kids. And so our kids start out pretty young learning how to play. I mean, you guys started pretty young playing, and a lot of that is in our school programs.
Mhm.
And so it grows from there. And then we've had really amazing teachers across the board that have just kept it going. We have a youth orchestra here too
Yeah.
in Fairbanks that it's been lovely for our kids to join. We have a symphony orchestra. We have all these things in our community that have made it so that the kids not only can play in school, but they can play and sing with groups all over our town.
Mhm.
This is the weirdest little nexus of performance I've tried to move like 3 times, and I come back because I can do more performance here than I can do anywhere else.
Yeah.
There are probably 5 choirs right now I could go join
Mhm.
and be a part of and just do music and enjoy it. And just not in just school, but also in our community. And it's a lovely place to be, and it's really grown everything. So we have not only kids who are growing with music, we have adults who are continuing to do music after the fact. And so it just builds this beautiful community of creation.
Beautifully said. And thank you so much to our amazing music teachers and all of our community partners too. I mean, I think you're right. If your student or your children's interested in some kind of music opportunity, it's amazing for the size of our community, what's out there. And if you want that opportunity, it's available for you. So that's great. What's next for you as students? And so, Becca, you said you're a senior. What are your plans upon graduation?
So I plan on going to college next year, hopefully. I know I want to stick with music. I don't want to as like my major or anything. I'll probably do it as a minor.
Mhm.
If anything, it'll be more of a hobby because I want to come back here after I'm done with college and everything. So I'll probably like join a community, the community symphony at UAF or something like that, just so I can stick with music, but not do it as a full-time job.
Awesome. Well, if that ever changes and you want to become one of our wonderful music teachers, we need great music teachers. So,
Mr. Kaufman, I'm coming for your job.
there, boom, there you go. All right. Some competition there. But yeah, we can always use great music teachers.
So a little bit of the same. I do want to go to college after high school. I'm a junior right now, so I still have some time before that. But I want to go to UAF for a few years at least, and then I'm thinking possibly going to law school after that.
Excellent.
But I do want to continue with music. Like Becca said, I don't think I want to major in music, but I still want to obviously continue with it and have it still be a part of my life. So I'm sure after I graduate and I can't take lessons from my piano teacher anymore because I think she only like up to like high school graduates or like high school seniors. I'll still continue to play because I just love it so much, and it just brings me so much joy with like what I'm able to do with it. And of course I'll keep singing, like even when I'm not singing in choir, like I literally sing all the time. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm singing all the time. Like in the car, I'm singing to like every song on the radio. And I do think like when I'm at UAF, hopefully if I'm at UAF, I'll want to do Choir of the North. So I think that would be a really fun experience. Yeah. And I really like, oh my gosh, Dr. Slayer. She's such a character and I love her.
Yeah, we have great music professors here in town. And a lot of our music students also give music lessons to younger children. And so once you're cut off from taking piano lessons, maybe you can turn around and give some piano lessons to some of the students in Fairbanks here.
Yeah. And what's actually really funny, sorry, I'll hand it over to you in a second. But what's actually really funny is when I was much younger and I had, just recently started learning piano. I have a little sister. She's in 8th grade right now. So she'll be here next year, which is kind of weird. But when she was very young, she eventually became interested in piano as well. And I started teaching her a little bit. Like before she started taking lessons with my same teacher, I started teaching her a little bit of what I knew and some of the like songs that I had done before. And so she, was able to do a little bit. And she actually progressed pretty quickly and she was able to play a decent amount by the time she started taking lessons. And then she started, my teacher was like, oh my gosh, you already know so much. And she's like, well, I had a teacher at home.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So you're a natural.
Well, I taught her a little bit, but she didn't end up sticking with it. She did it for a while. She's like, not really my thing, but
Okay.
she was interested in it for a while though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to study music education, but there's a decent chance that I'll change my mind. But I'm not worried about it because and this is exactly what you guys have both said. And like most music students that I know personally is like, music is always going to be a part of my life, no matter what. That's not negotiable. Like even if it's inconvenient, like it's a part of who I am, and I cannot. It'd be very difficult not to be doing it somehow. So I'm like always going to be creating and performing, no matter what. And I'm gonna make my kids take piano lessons. And yeah. So what's next is I do this forever. And
Perfect.
I am thrilled about it.
Yeah, I love that. And beyond making our future children take piano lessons or music instruction, what kind of advice would you have for young students that are looking at you and like trying to make that decision whether or not they should join a music program?
Do it. That's if you aren't sure, do it. Because then if you don't like it, you can stop. That's fine. Always audition. Like there's never any harm in auditioning for something or like joining it or trying it out or whatever. And you only have stuff to gain. And we're living in like in our district, it's like every year, I mean, funding for music and funding for all extracurriculars is like, potentially on the line or whatever, but which is unfortunate. So it's like, it matters, you know what I mean? And like join and have fun because we get to, and we're like, we still get the privilege to do this super cool thing. Anyway, I feel like I've just said do it like 10 times, which is my thesis, which is if you aren't sure about joining a music program or you aren't sure about, I'm looking at the camera, do it. Audition. Join.
I love it. And I love the advocacy piece in there too, because you are right. Funding for education in general has been cut year in and year out. And we've seen some dramatic losses to the music education that we can provide our students. And so thank you for adding that in. And we really do want students to have these opportunities because it's a major part of a full spectrum of education for our students. So thank you.
Yeah. So kind of similar to what's been said, I'm glad you brought up music funding and everything, because that is like you just said, that is something that is constantly, being questioned, or like, is there something we should get rid of? And so, yeah, like to anyone who's thinking about it, of course, like try it out. If you don't like it, oh well. But what I will say is that it has like, I've met so many, and I've said this before, like I've met so many amazing people through the music department, and I've met amazing teachers through the music department as well. And it's just, and it's just so nice to have a class where you are just, obviously you have to work with other people. So if that's not your thing, I don't know what to tell you, but
you should join and learn how to do it, because you're gonna have to do it for the rest of your life.
But yeah, and like what I think what you said, like it is going to teach you some important just life skills, even if you're not wanting to like pursue music in the future. Like it'll teach you important life skills that you're still going to need, and it's just a really great experience. And of course, maybe it's not for everyone, but to me, it's been a really great experience, and it's important to a lot of people. So we do need that funding for music and extracurriculars. So,
absolutely.
Yep.
And a shout out to our school board right now. Last year, they made a big step and added a district-wide account for music, which there's never been this line item within the school budget for district-wide music. And they added $50,000 to that. And that seems small compared to our overall budget, but I think a monumental big step in the right direction of funding education and adding things back for our students. And one of those things that it's funding is a Jumpstart Music Camp every year for students transitioning from elementary to middle school. And so we're really excited that instrumental music camp is happening and giving some students exposure to musical instruments prior to that first day of school. Because I know it can be overwhelming for our instrumental teachers to have young students in there that have never touched an instrument, and then all of a sudden you're trying to put 100 kids together and have them play something that sounds meaningful.
Oh yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I taught elementary band and orchestra for 10 years and I loved it, but it's also very terrifying giving these children who are just learning how to not touch everything in the room, noisemakers, and then expecting them to make beautiful noise by the end of the semester. But there's something very lovely about watching kids find that discovery point where all of a sudden it makes sense and they click and they have that aha moment. It's very addictive. And that's why I'm still teaching, because that aha moment is the most beautiful thing in the world, especially when we see you guys on stage and that moment clicks and everyone is just in it together and all the stars align and everything sounds beautiful. And that I cry at every All-State. Every All-State I cry because there's kids that I've taught since kindergarten on the stage almost every single time. And it's lovely to see them continuing the entire journey.
Love that. That's the gold for educators right there. I mean, there's so many challenges with the field of education, but when you get to see students performing on the other end of that and doing it at such a high level, it makes it all worth it. So, anything else from you, Becca?
When it comes to kids joining music programs, I would say it's actually like a really good skill to know how to play an instrument or at least know how to read music. And I only say that just because some of the smartest people I know actually know how to read music or know how to play an instrument. That's not to say people who don't play instruments aren't smart. They obviously are. But it's just a pattern I see of a lot of AP students in my school, at least, have played an instrument for a couple years in their life. I don't know why that is. It just is a pattern that I see constantly. So it can make you smarter. Definitely do it.
Absolutely. Love it. Just do it. So.
If I could add in on that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a science behind that I will not speak on because I don't understand it, but I do think it develops your brain beneficially, but also especially, and you see this I think I would be curious to know how, what percentile of our nation's valedictorians are orchestra students, because and I say that because especially orchestra and band, and actually scratch that, all music, it is a discipline. You do it, you practice every day, and you are there every day, because like if you miss a dress rehearsal or you miss a concert, don't do that. It's really bad. And so like, yeah, I think music students who perform well are disciplined and they're used to like you take your instrument home every day and you practice for an hour, and that translates absurdly well into all other academics. I mean, like it's incredibly right. Yeah, exactly. And to getting better at anything. So like it's so important to learn that young, and I'm very grateful that I have been able to. And
I think you have a PhD dissertation in there somewhere with some potential study, and I would love to read that dissertation in the future, because that would be really interesting to see the number of valedictorians or top 10% of the class that are involved in some kind of music. I bet it would be a high percentage.
Yeah, I would say higher than yes.
Yeah,
I would say so. I'll have to do some.
So, Mrs. Brazier, maybe to close, could you give us a look ahead of what's coming up in the second semester? I think this podcast might drop after the winter break, and so if people are excited about what they're hearing today, how can they come support our students?
Well, we have a lot of really great things that are about to happen. We have the musical at Lathrop High School that's going to be opening at the end of January. They're doing Mean Girls, and then in February, North Pole High School is doing Cinderella.
I just heard that yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And that's the end of February. We are taking kids to All Northwest, which is an even bigger competition.
Wow.
It involves the Northwestern states. And we have 18 kids that were selected to be a part of those ensembles.
Amazing.
And so in February, we're taking those kids down there. And then March is Music in Our Schools month.
Yep.
So we
Big
have a
month.
jazz concert. We have a band, orchestra, choir concert in North Pole and a whole nother set in Fairbanks. And so that's all of March. And then we are taking kids to England, Scotland, from West Valley and Lathrop in March. And then we have our regional solo ensemble that's coming up. North Pole's hosting. That's in April.
Excellent.
And then we have a concert for that. And then, of course, we take people to state that make it for regionals. And so that'll be the state competition in May and then graduation.
Whew. Man, I'm tired just thinking of it, but lots coming up. And thanks for all you're doing to support all of those music programs. Follow the district social media channels, school district web pages, as they'll let you know what the series of events are coming up. And I would say just come out and support our students. They're doing amazing work in all of these different musical disciplines, and it's a great time. If you have young kids, bring them to see what opportunities are available for them in the future, and you never know where that's going to lead them. So thank you so much to all of you for your willingness to join the conversation today. It was super fun for me, reminiscing on my music past when you were talking about kind of getting those tingles about hitting those perfect chords and those music moments. It brought me right back to some of the moments I had in high school and the performances that I had. So thank you for your willingness to join and everything that you're doing in high school. And thank you for continuing to share your musical talents with us and being one of our master teachers here in Fairbanks.
You're welcome.
So, all right. Well, that concludes another edition of the Alaska EdVenture Podcast. This is Dr. Luke Meinert, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.